this. I've finally figured out how to do it. What we're going to do is create a function to change the text of this output label. So what will happen eventually is that when we get over 25, it will actually change it to fan on, and under 25 it'll say fan off. So that's basically what we're doing, and we're going to just create this. So under 25, fan on. I'm just going to have text for not to the time being. Fan off, sorry, and over 25 it's going to say small fan on. Let's have a look how I do that. Go back to here. First thing we need to do is we need to define the function. So I'm going to go def, and the function that I'm going to define is display output. Now I like to be fairly explicit with my function, so if I look at it in 6 months' time, I know exactly what I did. So define display function. Now whenever I create a function, I just always create just a really simple test to see if it's working. The easiest way is I just put working, question mark, and then I can tell whether it's working or not. Now I've already have included the command line to call this function. Now a function we call a function, so define, there's your function, open bracket, close bracket, that's always a function, colon, when we hit return it'll indent, so anything in this line here, down here, is part of the function. If we come back here, if it actually breaks out and ends up here, it's not part of the function. It's really important to remember that. So if it's to be part of this function, it has to be in this line here. We can have functions inside of functions. We can have an if statement inside a function. We'll be doing that in a second, but it's really important that everything has to be lined up here initially. Okay, so what that will do, we'll create a little function. When we hit this, it'll just simply say it's working to the shell. That's what it'll do. So I'm playing that now. I'm waiting for my GUI to appear. Takes a while on the Mac. So I come across here. If I hit this button, it should say working. And it does. Here in the shell, it says working. Every time I hit the button, it says working. That's great. It's not particularly useful, but it's great. Alright, the next thing we need to do now is we're going to actually get the text, the input, and we want to do something with that. So when I actually, this entry box, whenever I put something in here, I want to be able to do something with that. So I need to get whatever's in here, and I actually need to do something with it. So I've already wrote out the lines of code. So I'm going to get rid of this working line here because I don't need it anymore. That was just simply a test. So here it is here. I'll make sure I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. Got to be back here. Right. And if you're never sure, if you're not sure, just hit return here and just make sure it meets with the cursor again. Now, this variable is int underscore temp equals int temp entry get. So the get method gets whatever in that thing that says temp entry, and now remember temp entry was an entry button. So whatever, if I put 34 in here, it'll actually get that that variable, and I'll put it in this variable called int temp. Now the reason I put this int here because I want to make sure whatever I put in is actually an integer. If I put 34 in, the program will think it's actually a string. I have to explicitly say it's actually an integer. All right. Now I want to make sure that I'm actually printing this out, so I'm going to go across here. I've already done this before. Copy the next line of code in. Didn't print out. Just copy it again. Here it is here. No, it's still not coming out. Why isn't it coming out? I'll have to type it up. So little letters. So it's print int temp. So now whatever I put in there, I should be able to print out onto the shelf. So let's just test that now. Right. Here we go. Now, if I print out 34, it should say 34 here. And it does. So that's working. I've got whatever's here, and I've entered it into here, and I've done something over here. And I've printed it out back there. Okay, that's great. So now we're going to do something. So hopefully I'll be able to, I'm not sure what's not working, why I can't just cut and paste the text, but I'll try again. There we go. Alright, there's a whole lot of text I got. So I've got an if statement here. What the if statement does, it says if int temp is over 25, I've created a variable called fan status, small fan on, and I've created another line of code that says status color, so COL for color, equals green. Now the reason I've done that, I'll just jump ahead one line, I'll copy this line of code here. And there it is. Alright, I've got to make sure it's on the same line. I'm pretty sure it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on the right line. Okay. Now, what that does, this line of code that says configure, it's a crucial line of code. I've got this widget called output. When I configure it, I'm basically saying whatever is in this brackets, that's what you set the text to. And that's what you set the background color to. So I've got text equals fan status. So therefore, the text, in this case, if it's over 25, will equal small fan on. Bang, we put that in there. And background equals status color. So in this case, the background of the text will be green. So that's how that works. Let's see if it actually is working. There is an unexpected. Alright, so basically what I've done is I've made a mistake. If you haven't got exactly right, it'll kill you every time. Alright. And here we go. I want to put in 26. Now what should happen is that there should be text appear here and it should say small fan on and the colour should be green. And there we go. So we've got background is that. Now what will happen if I haven't got that, I actually get a syntax error because I haven't got an else statement. It won't know what the fan status is or status color. So let's show you what will happen. So 23, there you go. So I've got a syntax error because I haven't actually said what that is yet. So you can't actually tell something, can't actually tell the code what to do unless it knows what to do beforehand. So you've got to actually declare those variables. Right, but I'm going to do that anyway because I've got an if statement, an else statement. Copy the else statement over here. Alright, so now as you see it's out of alignment. Alright, and that looks like it should be right. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. No. I think that's right now. Alright. Let's run it and see. Wait for the GUI to turn up. Here we are now. So let's do this test we did before, 34. And let's go under. So it's trying to be 23 because 23 is lower than 25. Bang, done it. So 25. Now that's it has to be at least 25, so that's correct. And 45. And 21. And that's done. That changes the text back there. So crucial thing is we can call a function. You declare a function by doing this. We're then returning, getting the variable by using this get method. So I'm getting that variable from this entry method here, entry text entry. We put that variable in we put that value in a variable called int temp. I'm just printing this out just to make sure it's working. If that's over 25, that variable is going to equal small fan on, and that variable will be equaling green. Then I put those variables in configure, so I actually say output, and basically I'm saying configure, do this, and then it will change the colour of the text. So that's basically how you do it. Once you've done that, really the sky's the limit, because you can just keep on building more and more functionality into your little widget, so you can actually make it quite complex.